Everyone. We're here with Celeste, and we're in her office. This is our Congresswoman's office, so if the camera will take a second, pan around and see all, Celeste has.
I'll explain a little bit. So in the cabinets you can see, I have things in there that were given to me by the towns and counties in the district. I have 13 counties. On this yellow wall, I have artwork that represents places in the district and my chief. Over here behind my desk, I have some things that are personal to me. This is the house I grew up in. I have a painting of that. One of Chris Stewart's old skinny ties with a quote from Abraham Lincoln in there. It says, "I'm a success today because I had a friend who believed in me and I didn't have the heart to let him down." So a little tribute to my former boss and my predecessor. But this is the real crown jewel of the office. These are the quilts that each of the 13 counties in my district made a quilt so that we could put them up here as a mosaic in the office. So every time one of you comes to Washington, D.C. for business or just for a visit, you can come in the office and see a quilt that represents your county, your home, and know that you're in your congressional office.
Yeah, and these quilts, they were made by local quilters. I would say ladies, more than likely.
They were.
But there may be a dude quilter out there, you never know. But yeah, so here's ours in Twilla right here. And you can recognize it easy. It's got the race car theme, the Army Depot, motorcycle bull riding, country fan fest. It's really and they're all beautifully made quilts. And I do know that Twilla, if we were to go one-on-one quilting competition, we'd beat the world.
I love that they all turned out very different. We didn't give anybody any instruction, just the size. And each county found someone to make one, and they look really good together, but none of them look the same.
That's right.
Just, I think cool.
They all look great. And you should come out to the Veterans Day out in Twilla every year. There's a Quilters Guild out there that make quilts for all the veterans.
Oh, that is cool.
There's a quilt waiting for me when I decide that the old guys that have traded lead with old countries, got all theirs, I'll sign up and get one.
Okay.
But yeah, every and we've had them kind of spotlight them on the show. Haven't had to get any of them on there. They're like,
Well, maybe I'll go up and make a quilt and we can all go on together.
that'd be cool.
I do some quilting.
Do you?
I don't have much spare time anymore, but I used to.
Yeah. No. So yeah. Okay. Let me lead off with that. What is your days like? How crazy is it?
So today, I started off early. I went to the National Prayer Service, which is now all over social media. It got a little weird. They decided to give Donald Trump a lecture while he was sitting there. And then I had a lunch meeting. I just met with the University of Utah. Now I'm meeting with you. That's kind of how my days go when I'm here. I start early and I meet with people all day long. I haven't had any committee work today. So other days I have committee hearings or work with the committee, and then later tonight we'll be voting. So if we're here, we're voting.
So you guys go late at night, head over, vote.
Not super late, usually 6:30 on days like today. So we vote at 6:30, then I have a standing dinner I go to where we talk policy after votes. So my days.
What do you guys eat for dinner?
It depends. They bring something different. Sometimes it's Cafe Rio. Everybody around here loves Cafe Rio, yeah. A lot of times it's Chick-fil-A, very popular on our side of the aisle. Yeah. And so my days usually end around 10 or 11 o'clock at night. And they usually start at 8 or 9 in the morning.
Okay, so folks, our Congress people are grinding. And then she also has a staff in here. You just saw one of them, and I'm sure his hours are crazy too.
They're worse than mine, because he has to make everything work.
And so he's out there driving the herd, if you will.
Yes.
Keeping the interns focused and
Just hustling for the second district.
Mm.
But it's working. So with this new Congress, I'm on the Appropriations Committee.
Okay, that's a big one.
It is, and we talk all the time about defunding things. That's where that happens.
And
that's in the appropriations bills.
For me, that's the most important committee. That's the big one.
Yeah, and it's a hard one. People have strong opinions about what we spend money on.
Is it a bipartisan committee? Or?
Yes. Yeah. But we're the majority, so we have more seats on the committee.
Evil eye each other.
No, we actually don't meet together that often.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Hmm.
But I'll keep explaining to people in Utah what goes in the bill and what doesn't and how we got there. Because I know people have heartburn with that. I'm also on the Natural Resources Committee, which is what all
You
my
should
background
be
is in.
because you are the soil scientist.
And I've already introduced a new bill on that committee this year that we were talking about right before we went live, to take Section 2 out of the Antiquities Act so presidents won't have presidential proclamation power anymore to declare national monuments.
Oh, so something that just happened.
Yes.
Tell me more. So if that gets removed, the president can't unilaterally carry all that power to just say, oh, that no one can touch. And that belongs to,
Yep.
you know, the government, okay.
And we've talked about this before. Congress has jurisdiction over public land. But Congress in the Antiquities Act gave presidents a kind of narrow authority to create national monuments. They were supposed to be small, and it was supposed to be just to hold things while Congress made a decision. That isn't the way it's been working, so it's time to take that power back. This really, it's about land. It's also about the balance of power between the branches. We shouldn't be giving up our authority to the executive branch. We are accountable to the people we represent, and when we give up that authority, then we can't be accountable anymore.
How do the Democrats feel about this bill you're pushing forward?
So far, most of the excited people have been Republicans, but Donald Trump was willing to shrink the monuments in Utah, and he's back in office. And so I think Democrats now suddenly care about what the executive branch can do on federal land.
Well, you think they would, it's in their name.
Yeah.
Do you like democracy? This is how democracy works.
Yeah.
Is I get to vote for you because you say, I'm gonna go there and do this. Not someone else, some far away one person makes a decision according to people further away.
So keep an eye on that bill.
Mhm.
Speaking of bills, by way of reporting to my constituents, we have 3 bills that we got signed into law in the first year I was here that just ended. So one of them makes it so that the federal court in Utah can meet in Moab and Monticello. If you live over there in the southeast corner of the state, it's a long way to Salt Lake, Provo, and St. George, which are the
Yes,
3
it
places
is.
that were authorized. And our federal judges in Utah are really great. They really want people to have access to the courts and feel like the courts are working for them. And so they actually asked for this, and we got it passed and signed into law so that we can hold court in Moab and Monticello. If you get federal jury duty over there now, you don't have to go all the way up to the Wasatch Front. If you
How
have a
crazy.
federal trial, it won't be all the way up on the Wasatch Front.
Oh, yeah, no, that'll be great.
Yeah.
No, that should have been done a long time ago.
Yeah, so that's one. And then there's also the state parks bill where we're transferring federal parcels that are inside some of the state parks in Utah to the state. So right now our state parks have these little pieces either inside or adjacent to them that are federal land. And so they have 2 landlords and they can't, our state parks do a great job managing, but they can't manage the federal parcels without input from the federal agencies. So we're just cleaning that up
And
and
not
turning
just,
those over to the state.
not just that, it only makes sense to
Yep.
let the state manage its own.
Yep.
Granted, California, if you want to hand all that over to the federal parks, I think in lieu of the last month, we could probably go for that for a couple of years.
Yeah, maybe every state can't manage land competently,
No.
but Utah can.
Utah can and does. California doesn't because it's focused on shiny things and not on building stuff out of hard.
They have incompetent federal agencies and incompetent state agencies that they pay a lot of taxes to.
They do.
We're living a lot better in Utah.
Yes, we are.
Okay,
Yes,
so that's 2 of them. The third one is the Good Samaritan Reclamation of Abandoned Hard Rock Mines bill.
Mm-hmm.
Long name, but what it does is allow third parties to come in and clean up abandoned mines.
Oh,
And we have a lot of those in Utah.
we do.
So for a long time, nobody would touch them because of Clean Water Act language that says that if you start operating a mine that's been abandoned, you take on the liability that would have gone with whoever owned the mine before.
And so it's just an unsafe sort. We had that guy that we lost in Nutty Putty in, was it the 90s?
It's been a long time ago.
Yeah.
Well, and mining practices 100, 150 years ago were very different than they are now. So we don't know what's in some of these abandoned mines. So for somebody to go in and clean them up makes sense but nobody wanted to take on the liability. So we created a pilot program for 15 projects to show that third parties can go in, clean up these mines, make it better.
It's just
we all know we need.
For cleanup, they're not going in there to profit from getting minerals. Now, what if they
It's
say,
the reclamation one.
what if they say they want to go in there and clean up, make it safe inside, but maybe make a front that people could come and see, a museum piece type thing?
That's a whole separate process, but I would support that. But right now, we're just chipping away at some of these problems that exist out there. I think we had a really great first year. I'm really excited about the next 2 years. I was at the inauguration yesterday.
How was that? How was it inside there?
It was incredible to be in the room. The acoustics in the rotunda are amazing. I didn't realize that. It's usually echoing there because it's mostly empty. But with that many people in there, when the military choir started singing, it sounded like angels. But the coolest thing was watching President Trump give a speech. It was nice to hear some optimism about the future of America.
And was it
And he was hard hitting. He didn't pull any punches, but he was also really positive. And for 4 years, we've been hearing that America is not special, that we're aggressors, that we cause the problems in the world. And to hear President Trump say impossible is what we do in America, the mood in the room was just really high. We as Americans, it's in our DNA. We love this country, and we want to be the shining city on the hill. We want to make the world a safer place. And to hear him talk about that in really positive, really authoritative terms, I think we all needed that. Everybody seemed to be really excited. And so I think we're going to get a lot of really good things done in the next 2 years. I think Americans will be more free 2 years from now than they were yesterday.
Free, prosperous. It feels like we've been living kind of under a cloud. Since COVID brought in a disruption, and it's stuck around, and it'll be good to see that gone. And it'll be good to see. I mean, Trump, the cloud was brought in under while he was last president. And it's be good. If I was a conspiracy man, I would say it was brought in on purpose to unseat him. And it's going to be good to see him throw that cloud out.
Yeah, I'm excited. I like JD Vance. I like what he's saying, what he's doing. He and his wife were at the prayer breakfast this morning, and they're young, and they're a very American story. I think the next 4 years in this country are going to be great. Yes,
and I remember when JD Vance was taking his oath, that little baby girl is sitting there.
Yeah.
The wife's holding her, and she's just adorable. And it's good to see people with young children back in there. And
did you watch the parade last night?
I did not.
His boys were getting bored, and they were leaning on the seats, and it was just very relatable, very human. I think I've only got a couple of minutes left. Is there anything else you want to cover?
Okay, so I want to thank you for all you've done. I want to start off with that.
Thank you. And we did not coordinate our outfits today. This happened totally by accident.
I won't. I'm going to show you the text later. No, but no, we did not. Yellow's a good color.
Yeah.
And it's a bright color, and it's a happy, sunshiny color. I want to thank you for inviting us out.
You're welcome.
I want to say your little swag bag you sent made other Congress people in Utah look like they didn't put in some effort. So
well, we weren't trying to make anybody look bad, but I have said from when I first ran that as long as I'm in this job, I want to pull the curtain back as far as I can and give Utahns behind the scenes look so that people feel like they understand how their government works and why it does the things it does. I think when people have buy-in and they can see it and they understand it, they feel optimistic that they can fix what's broken. And I meant it when I said it, and I hope you can see that I'm doing it. I'm trying to get as many people out here as I could. I try to make sure everyone has as good of an experience as they can, and I'm just going to keep doing it.
And I know that we haven't agreed on everything that you voted to pass. One, I trust you.
Thank you.
And I've tried to get a hold of other politicians. You are easier to get a hold of than some of my county guys and my city guys. And that is amazing to me. You, your chief of staff, and you led into there might be a possible Firearms bill coming down the pike. We don't need to lead into it,
We'll
but
save that for another episode.
yes,
Stay tuned.
you're gonna come out in the spring when it's nice and warm.
Yeah.
We're gonna do some live driving of
Practice
guns.
our Second Amendment rights.
Yes, it's the ultimate expression of freedom.
It is.
That's, the freedom of speech is more important, I understand that. But the ultimate expression is when a government trusts you enough to be a threat to them. And that is that's when you're a citizen.
So we're going to celebrate that together.
Yes.
Live for everybody to enjoy.
Yes. And maybe we'll invite some fellow shooters out. We'll have fun.
All right.
Everyone, thank you very much for joining us. And then I'm going to share this far and wide and everywhere. But give us a goodbye. Tell everyone.
Well, welcome to the office. I hope all of you will come here and see it at some point. This is where I work to represent the people of the 2nd District. I hope all the people of the 2nd District will come take advantage of this. Come see it. Come walk these halls and learn about our government and be proud to be Americans and be part of what we're doing. I really think in the next 2 years, we're going to fix some systemic problems in this country and make everybody more prosperous, more free, and I want all of you to feel like you're part of it.